Well, kia ora, fellow Stream classmates. Now, we were really fortunate in our year at Stream through all the years. We had a number of boys that came to our school from other countries, from overseas, particularly the Pacific Islands, and we were no exception. Now, the next man really needs no introduction. As soon as you see and hear from him, he was a force to be reckoned with. He was the Vaenga Tuinga Mara of our era. It's a huge malo alale to the one and only Richard Mafi. G'day, Rich.
Good morning, Eugene. G'day, mate. G'day to all the guys. Thanks,
Wow.
Eugene. That was wow.
Well, I'm saying wow because Rich, it's just so wonderful to see you. Not only were we close, but you were pretty much close with everyone. You were a huge influence on our year, and look, it's just so wonderful to see you. You're looking really well.
Oh yeah, so far good. Yeah, it was. That was some good year and some good blokes, mate. It was just like you've mentioned before. I mean, we all went in different directions, but I always thought, oh man, where are these guys up to? And then I finally worked my way into Facebook and sort of saw some people through Facebook. But yeah, it has been a while. It's been a while. Good memories and some good blokes.
Yeah, absolutely, Rich. Well, let's rip straight into it because I know the guys are really keen to hear what you've been up to and what you're doing now. So, look, recap, Rich. Take us back to your first years at Stream. What made you come to Silverstream? How many years were you there?
I was there for 4 years. I didn't come back for, well, back then it was Form 7, but it's now year 12 or something. But I did up to Form 6 back then. I came to Silverstream through my uncle, which was the Bishop of Tonga, Patrick Finau. He managed to get me into the school. And it was very hard to get into this school because I had to be a boarder because I was coming from outside. I walked in, there was that massive for a little island kid there. I mean, I've spent a couple of years. I did my primary level at Auckland, so I was already in New Zealand. But then walking into Silverstream, and knowing that I'm going to be stuck there with no one that I know. Mum dropped me off. When we went to buy the uniform, and I'm looking at the uniform going, mate, this school's got to be strict. But I would never regret anything I did in Silverstream, and it was one of some of the best times of my life. Hopefully, I can get one of my kids to go one day, or hopefully. We've only got one left that can have the opportunity, but I'm hoping to see how we go.
Well, Rich, our year would not have been the same without you. Now, go back to your first time in Redwood in third form. Do you remember who was in your bay?
Ooh,
your fellow boarding mates.
I can't remember who I was exactly with in my room, but when I walked in, I remember meeting Justin McCarthy, and then I walked in, and then Fui. He was just running around, going crazy in that room. But oh, jeez.
I know it's been a while.
It's been a while, yeah. And there was a
That's all right. Hey, what about you mentioned before you've watched a few of the videos that we've been doing. What's it been like seeing some of the guys again and hearing from them?
Oh, it's, brings back a bit of tears this morning. You know, the guys, Boz, Andy Logue, I hooked up with Andy on Facebook, and I saw his stories, and I spoke to him, chatted backwards and forwards on Snapchat. Andy Logue was always somebody that I remember very well because of some stuff we did together. Obviously, I've met up with Mark Nees here when Damien the Beast came over we were at the pub watching the game against the All Blacks. That was a couple of years ago, but with COVID, we've sort of thing. But I know Mark's just up the road. in the city for me. But yeah, there's some great memories.
Oh, that's awesome. Hey, now, Rich, let's take it back to the first year after you left Silverstream. Let the guys know what did you do? What did you get into?
Oh, the plan was to go home back to Tonga and spend a year, maybe hang out in the company and see what things are going. But it didn't happen. I came back on that following year to bring Michael back to Silverstream. Say good morning to my big friend.
No.
I came back to bring Mike back for his last year. And on my way back, while I got to Auckland, my dad spoke to a company in Australia that we get our flour from for our bakery in Tonga. So they offered me an apprenticeship. So I went straight from Auckland to a little town up in Queensland called Townsville and did my apprenticeship as a baker for the next 4 years.
Wow, awesome.
So I became a baker. And then I finished my last year, 4 years. On my last year, I was just out of my last year. My mum got sick with cancer. And then I came down to Sydney and she didn't quite make it. So after mum passed away, my dad said, let's go home and run this business. So I went back to Tonga for about 15 years, met my wife, had some kids. And then, like I said, 10 years ago, about 11 years ago, when my dad passed away, I just picked up my wife and my kids and we moved back to Australia about 10 years ago.
Wow.
And
it's amazing, Rich. And look, condolences to you. You always mentioned, I remember when we did Māori classes together with Mr. Maniapoto, who you will always remember, and your Mahis, obviously you always paid respects to Sepa Marilyn. Jamie and I, and many of us had the pleasure of meeting Marilyn at the little motel you used to stay at Trentham before you came to school. So yeah, lovely people. Yeah, may they rest in peace.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Now listen, occupation.
Yeah, and,
what do you do right now for work? What's your job right now?
All right. So I'm still involved in the baking. I became I now work for Coles supermarkets I'm a department manager looking after the bakery department in one of the Coles here in Sydney. Yeah, I did the bake. When I got back here, I worked at another bakery, and then I got into the supermarket bakeries and did baking for 4 years, and then I stepped up to become a manager. So I've been doing management now for 5 years.
Awesome, Rich.
And,
well done. Well done, Rich. Married, kids, please tell us and introduce your family to us.
So I'm married to my wife, Lavinia. We've got 5 kids. Richard, who's 20? Then I have Gordon, who's 18. Jessica, who's 14. And then I have Stephanie, who's 13, and my little one, Genesis, who's 3 years old.
Wow, you've been a busy boy, Rich.
Right? Yeah. I don't know where it came from, but because there's a big gap between Stephanie and Genesis. I don't know.
Wow. Now, I remember, of course, at school with us, you had your brother Michael, who I believe he was always arty at school anyway, but now quite a successful tattooist. Yeah.
Yeah, he's got a thing. He's in his third partner right now. He's got 9 kids, I think it is, with the 3 partners.
Whoa, he's almost got a rugby team.
Yeah, I keep telling him I think he hasn't stopped yet. I'll keep telling you.
Yeah. And I also remember you had one of your cousins come through school too later in the piece, maybe 5th form onwards or 6th form, yes. Marty Rikas.
Yes, we have a few cousins come through there, and also the Matangi boys.
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing. Here's a question for you, and I know everyone sort of struggled to pick one thing, but for you, do you remember a particular event, mate, team, time that you had at Stream that really, really sticks with you that you can share with the boys?
Oh, mate, got the cane a couple of times. Well, that was an experience. With the boys, I had an absolutely great bunch of guys in our year. No particular boy was outstanding. They were just all doing our own thing. We were all outstanding together. We worked as a team. One of my biggest memories was when we took over the kitchen when they did the walkout. We looked after the food. And then Brother Beat, obviously Brother Beat's always going to be in everybody's life. And then when we went out that night, we were supposed to go to the movies, but we ended up buying the booze and drinking that night. Oh, sneaking back into the dorm. Oh, and everybody was drunk and I had to get everybody back in. And then there was that memory when we had their little carver session up on the Redwood building, up in the Adolf. Introduced the boys to the carver. There was a few numb tongues and a few numb feet. Wow. But, mate, the guys, the rugby, and even I think the biggest thing for me was when we went to camp. It was the camp, our third camp where we all went. It was a great time out there in the dark and playing around with each other in the dark. Damn, there was some scary stuff there going on. But there was some good memories back then, especially in Silverstream. Everybody played well in rugby. We all did our bit of share in rugby. I never thought I'll ever make it I never play wing, but somehow Brother Beat decided to put me on the wing. I don't know why. I don't.
Well, I know why, because I was there and you were an absolute force to be reckoned with, Rich. We'd never seen anything like it. No one could tackle you.
Well, it was good times, eh? Good times. Said I couldn't keep up after that. I got stuck into my trip and I just, yeah.
Well, listen, mate, you know, you're definitely one of our favourites. All the boys will be buzzing at seeing you and just hearing that Richie Mafi voice again. Look, a lot of guys are going to be watching this. Do you want to give them a little message or a little shout out or something from you personally?
Oh, yeah, all the guys, yes. The Andy, obviously, he had some hard times then, but congrats on him for beating that. He's doing well. Boz, he's going well. I mean, obviously you, Jamie, all the other guys. Justin McCarthy, I messaged Justin not long ago about something we were talking about in rugby. I think it was something to do with Israel Folau, and me and Justin had a few comments in there. But it'll be good to catch up. Definitely trying to get there.
So let's just touch on that. So look, I know you're in Australia, and of course we've got this big foundation dinner at the end of July. So there's a little bit of time, but I mean, obviously, man, we would love to see you. But you are actually thinking of making it to try and get over?
Yeah, but that's why I'm just. I hope your garage is all right for me to sleep in.
Yeah,
and I'll come, but you know, I know your garage will be all right because I know you've got a garage.
You'll be sorted, bro.
Okay? I'll bring my sleeping bag. We'll do the dream thing. If I don't see it done, but you know, we'll probably try and get some sleep done.
Hey,
but yeah, I'm really looking. I'm just going to try and see sort of Mark needs and see if he wants to go, and maybe we'll come together.
Yeah, oh, for sure, man. The boy from Waipukurau would be great to see. Neezy, yes. Another guy I haven't seen in a long time and had a lot of time for. All right, my friend. Listen, we've come to the end. Apologies for a little bit of a delay there. But Richie Mafi, the Tonga Express, so good to see you again, bro. I've got your number now, so I'm definitely going to be keeping in touch with you. Let's work on getting you over here. And I know the rest of the guys would have loved to have seen you, bro. Richie, thank you so much for joining us, and take care, my bro.
Thank you, my brother. Take it easy. Appreciate it. And all the guys.